think when students come to Ryerson, I do believe that they see the hands-on, the relevance, and the responsiveness of our education. Jack's values of putting into operation education for the benefit of others is very, very much in line with the university values.
He was, I think, only 24 when he came to teach here, so he was only a few years older than the students themselves. And so he could relate to them at that level. When we first interviewed Jack, he exuded a kind of enthusiasm that one knew instinctively would replicate itself in the classroom.
Ryerson, during those years, was his second home. He spent all the time there with his students, with the faculty. That's the place where he connected with people in Toronto.
Jack Layton and I spent 2 years of working together to put on the radio 48 hours of programming, the equivalent of a 2-semester year-long course in city politics. Most Canadians, reflecting on Jack in his later years, were tremendously struck with the boundless energy that Jack in his early 60s demonstrated. Can you imagine Jack Layton as a 20-something?
He made the issues interesting. I come from Peterborough, a small town. I never really thought about a municipality as a complex organism. He was able to articulate his ideas and make you interested in all the complexities that go into how a city works.
I think it's safe to say Jack was probably the most influential teacher I had. Jack said, here's some issues. Who's interested? Let's get involved. Okay, I'll help you. Nobody else taught like that. And if you went to Jack's office, there might be a dozen people there from his classes. They were there because they fed off Jack's energy and Jack's ideas, and they wanted to get involved, or maybe were involved in, this grassroots initiative that had come up in Jack's class.
Ryerson was the platform from which Jack's political stature and Jack's political career was born.
Because it'll be a shame on this council to be condemned by the Human Rights Commission. It'll be a shame on us.
Either stop approving the developments, or we have to make it more difficult for them to bring their cars downtown and make them use public transit.
AIDS victims are treated as though they're already dead, but they're not. They need our help.
There was a very strong ethical impulse to Jack's teaching and to Jack's engagement in politics even then. Studying and teaching for Jack were about better understanding the world we lived in and having a voice in what direction that world should take into the future.
Teaching with Jack was a great experience. We taught a course called Municipal Politics for Journalists. The most creative thing we did with that class, and it was all Jack's idea, that we did a city council role play. We assigned them roles as a city councilor, as a lobbyist, as a journalist, as a concerned citizen. They had agendas, they had issues, and they had to come in and fight and argue, and they saw democracy at work because they were doing it. We were trying to build an interest in these issues for the long haul, for journalists who were going to go out there and make a difference.
I was in Jack Layton's urban politics class at Ryerson in 1980-81, back in his long hair and blue jeans days. And in that class, we talked about a lot of things, but mostly we talked about the power of the individual to make change. And whenever we talked about that, Jack would emphasize two things. One, if you engaged with the world around you, you could achieve something if you did the hard work. And two, that when you did that, if you were true to your principles, no matter what you achieved, you could feel good about it. And I was inspired by that then, and I've been inspired by it ever since.
Yeah, thank you. So once again, we go by the name of Bizarre. It's spelled B-I-Z-Z-A-R-H.
Many of us have been really inspired by Jack's work from all parties, because he really reimagined what a society could look like and reimagined what our leaders should be doing for us as people.
One of my favorite things about Ryerson has always been that it's not about sitting back and thinking, well, one day I'm going to be out of university and I'm going to be changing things, right? And it's going to happen eventually. I don't know when. It's the idea that you can start now. And I think really Jack Layton, his philosophy is really in line with that.
Then I heard the church bells from afar. But we found each other in the dark.
My friends, love is better than anger.
Hope is better than fear. Optimism is better than despair.
So let us be loving,
hopeful, and optimistic.
And we'll change the world.
So bright, the flames burned in our hearts. We are fighting to survive and come.